So, what happens when you watch an expert on YouTube handle one of the world's most venomous spiders and think to yourself, hey, I could probably do that? Well, one creator decided to find out, and let me tell you, the result was a chaotic, kind of hilarious, and genuinely terrifying journey. Let's break down this wild story from one simple click to a full on venomous crisis. And there it is. That's the single thought that kicked this whole thing off. See, after watching a video of the expert Coyote Peterson just calmly letting a black widow crawl on him, our guy here had an idea. An idea that would spiral from a simple pet project into a total mess, involving custom-built houses, an escaped venomous spider, and, yeah, his very concerned mom.
All right, so our story begins where a lot of questionable ideas do these days, with a late-night internet purchase, and an immediate, completely unforeseen problem.
With that inspiration fresh in his mind, he didn't waste a second. He found some website, added one black widow to his cart, and thanks to the absolute magic of one-day delivery, a highly venomous arachnid was on its way to his house. Simple, right? Not so much. Turns out, he kinda misread the order. He hadn't bought one black widow. He had accidentally purchased a 3-pack. So his simple little pet project had just tripled in complexity and, let's be honest, in danger. His first actual encounter was immediately intense. As soon as he opened one of the containers, the spider just falls onto its back, flashing that super famous red hourglass, nature's big stay away sign. And man, he learned really quick just how fast these things are because it immediately tried to escape. It was like a little heart-stopping preview of everything that was about to go wrong. So now he's got 3 venomous spiders on his hands, and he realizes, okay, they need a proper home. But he didn't just build a simple enclosure. Oh no. He built this absurdly elaborate, custom-designed triplex to test which kind of environment a black widow would actually like best. And the sheer level of effort he put in here is kind of incredible. He designed 3 totally distinct zones. There was a forest section with real wood and moss, then a cave section where he literally hammered a rock into tiny stalagmites, and then, the weirdest one, a super detailed house interior.
He really went all out. The little house section had Lego furniture and dollhouse accessories, and get this, he even printed out AI-generated art of black widows to hang on the walls. Like, one of them had wings. To top it all off, he put in acrylic dividers so they wouldn't, eat each other, and a fogger to keep the humidity just right. Okay, so the stage was set. The absolutely over-the-top spider triplex was complete. It was finally time to release the 3 venomous residents into their new homes and just see what happened. And at first, things actually looked pretty promising. The spider in the forest section immediately got to work, started exploring its new space, and trailed a strand of that famously strong silk. It honestly looked like it was settling in perfectly. But here's the reality check. After all that work, the moss, the wood, the whole custom layout, the spider completely ignored all of it. It just picked one tiny, boring little crevice near the roof to build its web. It's just a perfect and frankly hilarious example of nature not really caring about our best laid plans. So this is the part of the story where the project truly starts to fall apart. That initial excitement, yeah, it quickly turned into frustration, failure, and a legitimate safety hazard. The enclosures were built, the spiders were in, but a fancy habitat doesn't mean much if the animals inside won't eat. And this one simple question is what led to a whole series of escalating failures. And the results were, well, a disaster. The forest spider not only ignored the mealworm he offered, but it also tried to make a run for it down the side of the table. The cave spider? No better. It got startled by a cricket, ran away, and also managed to escape to the top of the enclosure. So that's 2 spiders, 2 feeding attempts, 2 total failures. But what about the 3rd spider, the one in the meticulously decorated Lego house? Well, here's the punchline nobody was hoping for. It was just gone. It had completely vanished, escaped the enclosure, and was now, we have to assume, loose somewhere in his garage. So let's just be crystal clear on where we are. He's now got one highly venomous spider roaming free in his garage, while the other 2 are on a hunger strike and have proven they're master escape artists. The entire experiment, at this point, was a complete and total failure. With his entire video idea in shambles, he decides there's only one way left to save it.
He has to recreate the exact stunt that inspired this whole mess to begin with. Yep, he was going to let a black widow crawl on his arm. And who do you call when you're about to do something incredibly reckless for the internet? Your mom, of course. So he brings her into film, turning this already tense situation into a pretty awkward family affair. I mean, her reaction says it all, right? The mix of shock, horror, and just pure parental disapproval perfectly captures the absurdity of what he's about to try. But of course, even this final act didn't go smoothly. Plan A was a bust. The spider just clung to its container and refused to move. So he had to improvise, switching to Plan B, transferring it to a piece of cardboard while his heart was probably pounding out of his chest, all just building the tension for that final, terrifying moment. And this is just the sound of pure, unfiltered fear. As the spider finally starts to crawl from the cardboard onto his bare skin, all that composure is just gone. It's just a panicked, repeated prayer, and it perfectly captures the raw adrenaline of the moment. And then, just like that, it was over. He actually did it. Against all odds, after all the chaos, the escape, the failed plans, he successfully let a black widow crawl on his hand without getting bitten. The stunt that started this entire thing was finally complete. So what's the big takeaway here? This whole saga is a perfect, if terrifying, example of that massive gap between watching an expert make something look easy and the chaotic reality of trying it yourself, especially when a venomous animal is involved. And all that leaves us with the one final question to think about. This whole thing started as just a curious project inspired by a YouTube video. It ended with an escaped venomous spider and a super high-stakes stunt. So it really makes you wonder, at what point does that curious enthusiasm cross the line and become a genuinely dangerous mistake?